Has Cam Ward followed like 85 Ohio State players on Instagram yet? Because that was like a dead giveaway for Riley.
That was a good giveaway.
Well, I thought, because you mentioned, Tom, there's the do not contact tag. And I'm not in the portal. Like, I honestly, I rely on like Chris Hummer, Matt Zenitz. Like, the 24/7 team is just so on it when it comes to the transfer portal. And I remember they educated me last offseason that when you see that do not contact tag, that it's basically sealed. And Riley's in there with do not contact. He's following everybody on Instagram. It's like, okay, well, we figured that out. That's not an available option. Riley Leonard to Ohio State's probably not happening the way that things have fallen.
Correct. Yeah. But back to the Ohio State QB room. I don't know about Kindholz. I've never seen him play, so I can't really speak to that. But just hindsight tells me that based on what we've seen from McCord this year, like, the quarterback competition went as long as it did, not because both were great options. It was because neither one of them was really truly able to separate from the other one. And they went into the season using both. And had Devin Brown not gotten hurt, there's still a decent chance that he might have emerged as the starter. Although I think, they came out that first game against Indiana and Brown really didn't play much. So I think it was McCord's job, but I wouldn't anticipate there being a very high level of confidence in the guys in that QB room, because they've seen a lot of them, and McCord's in the portal. And if McCord felt like, if they weren't interested in bringing somebody in and getting a quote unquote upgrade, I don't think McCord's transferring. The fact that he's transferring tells me that coaching staff probably doesn't have the highest level of confidence in the guys in that room right now. Not to say they don't think they're good enough, but they think they can do better. And if you look at Ohio State right now, the thing we've talked about since the end of last season, they have to beat Michigan. They have to win the Big Ten. They can't go into next year crossing their fingers and hoping Kyle McCord or Devin Brown or Kindholz are the guy. They're in a position where they need to go out and get somebody that they could feel really comfortable in saying, this guy's good enough for us to beat Michigan. This guy's good enough for us to get to the playoff. And this guy's good enough for us to win a national title. And they clearly don't feel that way about anybody in the room.
To follow on that, I do think there's this temptation for staffs out there to overvalue certainty, right? Like, there's a comfort in knowing that you have a guy who can play a little bit, but to win it all, like, you need to be betting on the upside shots, right? You probably need somebody to come in, and play extremely well, most times, like, the best guys come from high school, right? Like, transfers are great. They're oftentimes a Band-Aid. Some of them end up really good. Like, most of your best guys are still high school guys, though. So that's because, like, if they hit, they don't ever hit the portal. Coaches communicate to their collective, hey, we need to pay this guy. We need to start paying him now so he doesn't look around. So we encourage that patience and let him develop. But it's hard for coaches out there, because the pressure to win is immense, to actually bet on the guy who hasn't done it before. Like, you really got to trust your developmental process and trust your eyes that you got something there, if you do have something.
I mean, it's a professional sport now. The QB on the rookie deal, the high schooler, is more valuable than the free agent QB you sign.
For 1 year. Yeah. Because the thing is,
it allows you to allocate the rest of your cap around the rest of the roster.
Right. You can renegotiate exactly. Yeah.
What is how many quarterbacks is too many quarterbacks? Like, as you're trying to play this game, because we just saw Ole Miss last cycle bring in Spencer Sanders and Walker Howard, and they also had Jackson Dart. Dart was the starter basically the entire season. We were like, oh my gosh, how is this going to work? And literally the incumbent just stuck around. Can you even do, like, can programs be able to do that?
I'll ask you this, Chip. I'm going to answer your question with a question. Do you think Ole Miss wishes it would have used that money in a little couple different spots?
Like defense?
Yeah. Do you think maybe they wish they could have gotten a couple maybe defensive backs or defensive linemen instead of 3 quarterbacks?
Yeah.
I mean, again, we talked about it. Like, what's your window to win? What's your budget? Can you hold on to 2 guys for 1 more year? I guess if you think if you really have that belief in the ultimate ceiling of the younger guy, but you need to keep the older guy around because you don't think the younger guy is quite ready, then perhaps. But, like, look at Kansas State, right? Can they afford to keep Howard and Johnson on the roster? Can they afford to keep them on the roster and keep them both happy? Look at Oklahoma. right? There's like, can you afford to keep Gabriel and Arnold? Gabriel hit the portal today. Like, that was not unsurprising. We talked about how he was probably going to be pushed out there because they want to go with Arnold, right? I mean, Gabriel's a nice player, but again, you're probably not winning the national title with Dylan Gabriel. He's more like a good college guy, not like a real high-end guy. So they want to bet on the upside of Arnold. If they really, I think some teams can probably keep him for one more year, but it's hard to spend that much of your money on the quarterback room.
Well, all right, how about this? Can we stick with Dylan Gabriel? Because there's a very simple math and assumption, which could be wrong, but you're going to say Jeff Lebby was with Dylan Gabriel at UCF, and he was with Dylan Gabriel at Oklahoma. And when he is named the head coach at Mississippi State, well, I'm sure Dylan Gabriel could go to Mississippi State. And that would just be a way to continue rocking and rolling in the offense that has allowed you to be very, very prolific, among the most prolific quarterbacks in college football. But that does not get you anywhere close to a national championship. And you said, can Dylan Gabriel win a national championship? Are there going to be, how about this? Are there going to be top 10, top 15 caliber teams that are interested in Dylan Gabriel where he would go have a better shot to win, let's just say, to compete for championships? Maybe not the Natty, but to compete for championships.
Here's how you could phrase it. Are there at-large quality teams?
I'm trying to figure out how to talk about this new world we're talking about, because you just heard me say it. I was like top 10 to top 15. What am I saying? A team that it could get a ticket to the 12-team playoff. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm Oregon, I'm considering Dylan Gabriel. Right? If I don't think Ty Thompson is ready, or if I don't think Ty Thompson is the goods, that's an offense that gets the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, relies on accuracy, does not rely on arm strength, which is a knock on Gabriel. Yeah, I think that could be a good fit. If you're Dan Lanning, like, you want to have a nice first year in the Big Ten. You want to find a way, to continue to win 9, 10, 11, 12 ball games. Maybe if Michigan takes a big step back, and maybe if Ohio State doesn't hit on the quarterback, and maybe if Penn State is the Kotelnicki hire, is that official yet? Did that go through?
Don't know if it's been officially announced, but
I know there's a lot of rumors about it out there.
I mean, considering Kansas has elevated other coaches on the staff to different roles already, I think we know what's coming. Yeah,
I thought I saw it announced, but I don't want to.
Is he going to coach the bowl game? Do you think?
No, I doubt.
Probably not.
Man, I was thinking. Oh, never mind. We can talk about that later. I think Penn State, Ole Miss, like, that might be one of those New Year's Six bowl games or high-profile bowl games where if you're James Franklin and you just keep butting your heads against Ohio State and Michigan. You do a lot of good for sort of the vibes and fan base by beating an SEC team in a big bowl game for win number 11. And on the flip side, don't let Lane cook you,
How much should Mississippi State pay for Gabriel if they think he can get him to a bowl game? Like, we talk, take the checks, take the losses with teams. But if you're Gabriel, like, can you get a really nice payday from Mississippi State?
Mm-hmm. But that's the other thing too. Like, that's what Gabriel, I think, needs to consider, is that there's a reason he's still in college.
Yeah.
And this might be his best chance at an actual big payday. But if he wants to play in the NFL, is he better off trying out a different offense? Because here's, like, Bo Nix did not really have an NFL kind of, I mean, he would have probably been drafted, but he didn't really have an NFL quote unquote future while he was at Auburn playing the way he was playing. Now he's gone to Oregon, and by and large, he's really not any different than the guy who was at Auburn. He's just in an offense that has been much better suited to his skills, and he's probably going to get drafted this year. Not like a first rounder, but he'll get taken and he'll get a chance. So if you're Gabriel and you've been playing in this same offense your entire career, might it not be better for your growth to go somewhere else? Kind of like what Sam Hartman did by going to Notre Dame, getting out of the quote unquote, the slow mesh, going to prove I could play in a different kind of more pro style offense. So these are the things Gabriel needs to consider. Does he want just to get the big payday, which he could definitely get, I think, for Mississippi State, and just go somewhere where he's already comfortable? Or does he want to go somewhere maybe for a little less money, but a higher national profile that could maybe improve his draft stock and his chances of playing professionally?
Aiden Childs, the very talented quarterback from Oregon State, has hit the portal. Again, there's a very simple math that you could do where you say, hello, Jonathan Smith's now the head coach at Michigan State. Wonder if that's where he's going to go, or you might have better options than Michigan State. There also is But is Texas A&M defensive lineman Walter Nolan, former 5-star prospect, somebody who really came on as a dominant player this year? Would you say that's the top defensive option or most coveted defensive talent in the transfer portal right now?
Unless somebody's jumped in the last 20 minutes, because I'm trying not to do like the watch Twitter thing during the show, so I'm more engaged because I'm also watching the chat. Yes, as of this moment, yeah, Walter Nolan is a ready-made impact defensive lineman. Like, there's not a lot of guesswork there. The guy is a stud. He'll get a huge bag wherever he goes.
From the top, yeah. Like
and if he stays healthy, yeah.
It'll be like when Walter Nolan was a recruit and all the big boys were there ready to, pull it together for him. And now it's going to happen again. Cash in twice. Good for you, Walter.
So which SEC team is he going to end up at? Georgia, Alabama, Texas?
I think maybe another orange team. Maybe Tennessee.
Clemson.
Syracuse.
Tennessee.
Good job, Frank.
I was going to say Clemson. I had a brain aneurysm. There was like, what? The Clemson Tigers are going to go get Walter
Nolan? The team in
Knoxville. From there, like, they recruited them hard the first time. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball pick in for that one. But
I won't say it. Jordan's not here. I'm not going to kick him while he's gone. I was going to say Texas A&M and Tennessee. Is that an upgrade?
Texas A&M's lost a lot. Mike Elko's walking into a situation where it does seem like the outdoor is being used, and that might be.
I'm saying, if I'm Walter Nolan and I can probably go anywhere I damn well please. So it's like, I mean, maybe he just wants to be closer to home, but if I can get a bag and go play for a team that could, maybe win a national title, it would be weird for me to go to Tennessee. But okay, whatever he wants. When
we did the show over the summer that had some of the guys that run collectives, like, I tried to pick ones that have like good reputations, and Tennessee's has a really good reputation. So the opportunities at Tennessee, especially because you're from there, I think could be pretty significant. But like, if you're Oklahoma, guess what? You need a D tackle. Texas, you're going to lose what? Sweat and Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
Is Murphy gone too?
Sorry. Yeah.
Like,
that's going to be a position of need for those schools.
Yeah. We'll be very – listen.
Miami might need 4 defensive tackles in the transfer portal. Leonard Taylor, I read it the other day.
Well, he's going to go pro, right?
Who? Leonard Taylor going pro, yeah. But, like, they might need a lot of guys in the portal at that position. Walter Nolan's going to be a coveted prospect, I would say. Mm-hmm. I would not use the do not contact tag. I'm like, contact me. Run it up.
Actually, I'd be like, call my agent, not me. I got shit to do.
Yeah. Business inquiries.
For the Cover 3 tailgate, someone did mention, and it is worth saying, yes, some of these players that enter their name into the transfer portal, they do have the option to come back.
Yep.
It could be a negotiating tactic with your current situation. So we're not automatically taking a player like Walter Nolan and sending him off. However, the I'm staying, Instagram graphics pop up a lot less than please respect my decision.
There's some advice out there that is really, really smart advice if you're an elite player, and really bad advice for almost everybody else, right? The whole like, hey, jump in the portal, you can always come back. You'll get a real feel for your market value. That's really good advice if you're like a legitimate draftable prospect. If you're a guy that like gets fringe playing time, that's not really good advice. Because
your coach is gonna be furious.
Well, also the school can be like, yeah, guess what? We're pulling your scholarship.
Oh, like, really?
They don't have to let you back.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, as soon as you hit the portal, they can pull aid that day.
Whoa, I'm glad you said that. I don't think that gets talked about a lot.
Yeah, I see a lot of these experts on Twitter like, oh, everybody should jump in the portal to gauge your market value. But that is not true. Okay, like
you've got that. You basically forfeit your side of the signed agreement.
Yes. Yeah, they can put they can, and like there are schools out there that are certainly portal and pull.
Mm-hmm.
Like in baseball, we talk about file and trial. They don't even negotiate for the arbitration years. They just cool. We're going right to ARB.
We talk about culture for a program, and it's important. But sometimes part of that culture is you're in or you're out, and the second you step out, you're gone. You're not part of the culture anymore.
I mean, like there are notable examples of this. Of guys who hit the portal, probably didn't get the kind of stuff they were looking for, wanted to come back, and the school's like, no, we're good, man.
That's kind of like what I was saying when we talked about it earlier. It's like, feels like there's more quarterbacks in the portal every year than there are available jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.